The affirmative side argues that federal and local laws need to be established that it discourages the eating of unhealthy, sugary foods. Even Rhonda Storms, a Republican state senator in Florida, she even states that it's a major issue because many individuals in Florida are prevented from spending food stamps on unhealthy items like candy, chips, and sodas. Why should we have all these food stamps given out to people who are spending it on these junk foods? Why should we take our taxes and put it towards those things? Sugary foods cause diabetes, hyperactive behavior, long-term health risk. Sugar is not bad, it can be used, but too much of it to affect your behavior is a horrible thing. My cousin is only 6 years old, and a couple months back she fell into a coma because her intake on sweet foods was just too much. Now when her birthday comes around and she doesn't have a birthday cake, she's depressed. Why? Because her parents weren't watching her intake on sugar, and now she just can't use it at all. Kids in school are expected to, operate, pass SATs, Regents exams, but in the mornings they're going to the corner store buying Snicker bars for breakfast. Schools need to provide these students with breakfast, which includes fruits, apple juice, stuff like that. How would we expect our students to pass these exams and have so much high expectations for us to succeed in life, and they don't even have the finances to provide our students with the right food? So yes, of course the negative side is going to say, yes, you should have the right to eat whatever you want. But in a society like which we live in today...
Stay up there, please. Emil, you're doing the cross.
Have you heard of the Sodexo Food Company, which caters to 400 districts of schooling?
Okay.
They cater prisons as well, and they cater the same food that they cater to our students. The same food that's given to our prisoners is given to our students. Now, sugar is needed, isn't it?
Okay, but not too much of it. Or are you going to
All right, but if you regulate it, where does that leave those that need more sugar than others, like patients that suffer from hypoglycemia?
Okay, well, sugar is needed, but not too much of it. All I'm saying is that students, and like you said, whatever prisons they feed these things to and those type of things, yes, they need sugar, but too much of it. Why do they have hypoglycemia, whatever disease they have? Yes, why do they have that?
Why do they have it?
Yeah, what is it called from?
Some people are born with it.
Yeah. Yeah, people are born with it, but it's something about, it has to do with sugar. Too much of sugar is not good at all.
But isn't it a person's responsibility to watch their weight and what they eat? And don't they have access to gyms and other things like that?
Yeah, but gyms, now in elementary schools, we only have gym once a week. Sometimes they don't even have gym. My sister...
That's due to the No Child Left Behind Act.
Time. Okay.
How you doing? Currently, the status quo is that authorities consider sugar as empty calories, which means it's neither harmful nor good for you. It's very clear that a little or moderation of sugar is not a problem at all. The Food and Drug Administration currently has sugar on the generally regarded as safe list. Propositions such as food stamps are clearly discriminatory against the poor, or simply don't work. Preventing children from entering convenience stores from after school or before school is bad because, like Emil said, prisons are serving the same food to their prisoners as they are to our kids. Some kids simply do not want to eat prison food, so they like to get breakfast at stores before school or lunch at schools after, such as sandwiches. putting limits on food stamps presents the slippery slope. How much is too sugar? Where do you stop if you stop people from getting sugared foods? Many typically American meals would be prevented from this proposal, such as, for example, a bowl of Captain Crunch with a glass of fruit punch and a cup of coffee. I can't tell you how many mornings a week I eat that for breakfast, and to make that unavailable for poor people would not be right. There are other items such as Kraft, which would be deemed too much sugar. Macaroni and cheese is a common meal that we all eat with a glass of Coke. There's already enough restrictions when it comes to food stamps. They're already not allowed to get tobacco, alcohol, vitamins, pet foods, household supplies. And they're a great way to rehydrate yourself if you're really dehydrated on hot days, or electrolyte drinks such as Gatorade and Powerade. Those would also fall into categories having too much sugar if you prevent.
Time. You had stated that food stamps are a means to giving poor people a way to provide food for themselves, right? And that sugar could be considered a food. Now my question to you is it important to give them food in general, or the reason that we're giving them food stamps is to create nutrition and provide nourishment for poor people? Does sugar provide nourishment and the necessary vitamins and minerals that are needed for us to sustain ourselves? And does sugar provide this?
Yes, the ultimate goal of food stamps is to feed hungry people.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing in it about it that says, sugar can't be.
Right. You
included.
also mentioned that when kids go to school, they may not like the jail food. Now, my question to you, isn't it allowed for children to bring food from home?
It's allowed. It's also allowed for them to bring a sandwich from the store that they buy before school. To school.
A sandwich is not sugar.
No, unless bread has sugar in it. But still, you're asking to prevent them from entering the store because there's sugar in the store. Yet there's other items in the store that do not have sugar.
But nothing was said about preventing them from entering the store.
Isn't that the idea of? So how would you prevent students from going to a store? I mean, what's the idea? You're going to say you can go into the store but not buy sugar items?
The limited intake of sugar items because they don't provide what's necessary for people to sustain themselves.
Carla, 1 minute for the affirmative closing.
The wrongful use of sugar as a supplement to provide nutrition has been an issue that has been tackled by the Obama administration as well. Michelle Obama, our First Lady, has been a big, major nationwide movement to prevent obesity in children. It was mentioned by the negative that there's a problem of hypoglycemia. Am I correct?
Yes.
Well, my question would be, is hypoglycemia an epidemic, or is diabetes in our children and most of our adult citizens a problem? And I believe that in reform of the way that we use sugar in our nutrition would be something that's more effective than allowing us to just eat sugary foods that aren't really being a source of nutrition. In the same way, obesity is something.
Good, thank you. Emil has 1 minute. No, there's no cross.
Okay.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it should be the parents' discretion on how much sugar their child should intake. Parents, as well as majority of individuals today, believe it's foolish to class sugar with tobacco and alcohol. They don't think they should have to pay extra for the kids to have the occasional soda. And again, sugary food is a lot cheaper for people that aren't as fortunate as others to afford. Like Conrad said, you can just go to the store and buy a microwavable box of Kraft mac and cheese with a bottle of Gatorade, which is a lot cheaper than going to a diner or something. None of these ideas would prevent rich people from purchasing sugar food items. Is governmental action the only way to persuade our entire population to eat less of the added sweet stuff?
Okay. This is a hard one. All right. Let's hear what you have to say. Go on, Curly, go on.
This is a tough one,
Can
guys.
we get the argument again of
Yeah,
what
that's
the
good,
issue
that's good.
question is again?
That's good. It's right there.
Oh,
It's
sorry.
federal and local laws need to be established that discourage the eating of unhealthy sugary foods. Now, when you judge this, you have to remember that the affirmative needs to supply arguments or issues that support that idea that the federal and local laws need to be established that discourage the eating of unhealthy sugary foods. So you need to ask yourself, did they in fact create arguments that supported this resolution?
Okay, so I don't think so, because I wasn't I didn't know where if I didn't read this, I wouldn't know what the question was. I was just thinking it was just about sugar and food stamps and kids going to So anyway, Collis did a great job in the beginning when she said she brought in a lot of points. She brought in personal experience. She brought in sources. She brought in, she looked up at the audience. She brought in examples like the kids going to the stores or whatever. And the negative, I didn't think that the questioning was good. Asking her the questions, because she was leading the questions more so, which isn't good for her. I don't know if it was good for her or it isn't. I don't know. But the questions and then her answers were kind of irrelevant, I think, because it was like leading it to, what did you say? Oh, look. It was like leading it to something else, but then it didn't help their case either because they allowed her to lead them. So then the second negative combated her food stamps example, which was Conrad. He combated her food stamps example and her example of kids going to the corner stores, and he gave his own personal experience. I thought that was good. I thought he did a good job. He looked up at the audience. He gave facts. He looked a little nervous, but he did an okay job. The second affirmative, I think that the questioning was too long a little bit, like mine last time. It answered, and she allowed him to also answer questions, like ask her a question or whatever. And it seemed like she didn't know her side's argument, which is unfortunate because, she wasn't really supposed to be on there. But then it said not really, and she wasn't really giving a question. She was giving him more information and then giving him a question, basically. So then I think that the second affirmative, she combated the negative questions as best as I guess she could, but she didn't really know the argument and it was unfortunate that she didn't get to argue with the first team because, she didn't really know the issue and she was just going off the top of her head, basically. Right. And then he seemed nervous.
Okay. So which side won?
I think, God, Jesus. Yeah, listen.
The side supporting government control, or the side saying we need to continue, with
honestly,
people making their own choice?
I didn't feel like they proved their side, honestly.
Well, if they didn't prove their side, then the negative one.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Okay, Miriam.
Okay, so...
Thank you, Curly.
Yeah.
So for the first affirmative, I really liked the personal experience because it's the first time we actually hear it in an argument. So it was really, really good on your end. You started out a little, you took a little while to get to the point, but once you got it, you attacked it. It was really good. You provided like a lot of information with the exams and stuff, and I thought you started out really well. And then for cross-examination, the one question that I really stuck to my head, and it showed that you actually knew what you were talking about, is when you brought up the hypo thing, whatever. Yeah, because and like when you asked her. No, but like the question itself, it's like he brought up like a medical term at least. And
So just the fact that it was a medical term, really.
like it made it seem professional. Okay, anyways, so that that was the only thing I really got out of the cross-examination. My only thing is that when you were answering the question, it was like you weren't like nervous to answer the question, but you kept saying the same thing over and over. Like you didn't really. It almost seemed like you were trying to avoid the question because you were saying the same thing. You know what I mean? I like for the second one, I like the question, does sugar provide nutrition, whatever. I think they came really well at it by saying there's nothing really that specifies it. But I thought that was a really good question. And then the second affirmative with the Michelle Obama, it was good that you brought in more stuff, but I didn't really feel like that proved it. Like that wasn't really supporting, like it wasn't proving anything really. And then I thought at the end, the parents' discretion was important. It was kind of a little cheating because you brought up something new.
Actually, didn't. It was talked about earlier in the first affirmative.
Okay.
First affirmative brought it up. And
Okay.
yep, they did.
But
So I think it's fair that he brought it up.
Okay. Well, I thought your body language at the end though was a little weak. Like I think you should have stood up more, and I thought like you were coming to an end, so you were like slacking a bit.
Good, thank you. So who won?
You can pick.
No, you pick.
No, you pick.
No, you pick.
We can do this all day.
How about we get a glass vote?
Negative.
No, I need it from the judge.
I don't know because.
Do you
we
think
both
the affirmative
voted
made their
me.
case?
Huh?
Do you think the affirmative made their case that there needs to be more government control over sugary intake?
Not really.
They didn't make their case. Okay. So